So,
Vacation sounds good.
No, I wouldn't know what that is anymore. I wouldn't know.
all right,
Good, yep.
you ready?
Oh, yeah. Making sure it goes live.
Excuse me?
I was making sure everything goes live.
What do you got? I don't know. That's okay. I'm so half asleep, but that's okay.
Wait till he gives me the go. There's not a lot today anyway.
Excuse me.
It's a pretty slow day since it's the end of the year.
Listen, I'm so tired. I don't even know. And I was like, it was quarter of, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta.
All right, let's move. So normal, all of the stuff. So, I mean, we call it to order, but it's not an official meeting, so there's nothing really to do. So we're just going to continue to go through what we have here. Just want to put out and, thank everybody, obviously, to the public that helped set up for graduation and tear down and all the advancement ceremonies. A lot of great work done by them. The tennis courts are underway. They've actually have some updated photos. I didn't put them in here because this was already live. They've repaired the cracks. They're beautiful looking. They're going to do the first coat of paint today and then come back next week when the weather breaks and finish all the painting. They'll be done sometime next week and ready to go. So tennis courts are looking great. And then Log College William Tennant paving starts mid-July. And that'll take them just over a week to do, and they'll be out of there well before school. Still working on FCF classrooms. We're going to have to get an architect in to do a little bit of design. and working with Barry Izette to make that happen. Still continue to work on the 7. It's actually, I'm starting to work out to the 10-year plan now, another 3 years on capital projects, so we can look at that. And then I had Termac, who has the roofing company that has some of our warranties right now, to come and look at all of our roofs and do an updated visual look. And they did some core sampling and some stuff like that, so I can start moving the plan to put solar on the buildings forward.
Okay.
So we just got to know it.
Is the warranty still going to be in effect after you put solar on the roofs?
That's what we're going to work through. So we're going to see, I want to see what the life expectancy, say that it only has 10 years left.
Yeah.
We can roll some of those costs to update our roofs into the solar plan also. There's ways to do that with grants and things like that. So until I get all the information to put together with a life expectancy of what our roofs are at the moment, I don't have a full plan. So they're
9 times out of 10, as soon as somebody else does any kind of work on your roof, your warranty is now void.
Yep, and that's why I had them out to do to be involved in this process. They're aware of what I want to do. Okay.
And that's for every roof or just?
Every roof.
Okay.
So they even looked at this roof and the transportation roof, which they haven't done work on before. They've looked at those and given me, they're going to give me a life expectancy on those roofs also. So here's the capital project plan. Tom, do you want to talk about your updates to that?
Sure. I think this just expands upon Jim's capital plan that he just mentioned, right? So the top half of it in black are Jim's outline over the next 5 years for capital projects. They include the FCS classrooms. They include continuation of our paving to make sure we get that wrapped up, and a number of other items, as you can see. Some roof replacement as we get into the later years. So those are all sort of listed out.
Okay.
I think these are shared just for understanding and sort of forward thinking, which is great.
And I'm hoping there's some ways to do some of these roofs. That's why I had them do it. We may be able to do these roofs with a new process where they coat the roof with like a rubberized spray instead of if it's in good enough shape to just coat. We can get an extended time on our roofs and it won't cost nearly what the projection of replacement is. So that's one of the reasons I have them looking at our roofs and what our next process is, because we could do some roofs and save a lot of money if they're in good enough shape to do what they're talking about.
It's just a spray?
It's, like a bed liner, like in a truck, that rubberized spray. They're coating roofs with that now as long as what's down is in good shape and not peeling up. And it lasts 25 years.
Is it seal coat?
Yeah, it's like 25-year process. It'll last 25 years though. It's crazy, like, it's a great thought, how it works. So we're looking into that, and I'll have all that information once they bring it back to me.
I think that's, I appreciate you push this
Sure,
out to 10
sure.
years, right? So those are all things we want to be looking at. We included $650,000 for transportation and vans and district vehicles, as we have the past several years. And there's almost $1.5 million in technology replacements. The biggest is the switching network within the data center, which is sort of a critical item.
And when is that?
What's that?
I can't see that, so when is that?
The
technology?
That's next year. So
Oh.
this is all over the 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you flip the page, Jim, that's the detail. If you go down, right, this looks at, you can see the box on the left, the proposed projects. Those are the proposed projects for 25-26 as laid out. Right? The Log College, William Tennant Teacher Stadium lot.
Did we not replace the projectors already?
We did, replaced the high school projectors last go around.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the projects that are proposed, and that account for $3 million in expenses, just over $3 million.
So we didn't do the teacher's lot at Tennant for the paving?
It is, it's been approved, it's just in 26's, it's in the next year budget,
Okay.
because they're doing it in July.
Until July.
Yeah,
It rolls.
yeah, so that is getting done.
Your activity, that includes the lots we did.
Yep, Klinger.
Just last year.
Klinger and the tennis courts and a couple things.
Next slide, just again, sort of summarizes that 5-year plan and funding for it. The debt service fund, which is what we've been using as our quote savings account, we've been looking to fund the capital funds with that. That will last another 2.5 years going forward, at which time it will run out of money, and then we'll need to look at alternative options to fund capital improvements. And that's all dependent on the level of deficit funding we are drawing down on that same debt service fund. So it's sort of summarized there.
Okay, so the things that we need to present to the board, we want to request to support the Upper Southampton Parks and Recreation, which we've done for years. They have a proposal in here. When you read it, it's actually the cost to them at a 35% reduction back to us is $4,210.54. And that includes 17 different occasions we'd be transporting them. So with the 35% reduction we'd like to take forward for approval, that was what they would pay us back.
Okay.
So
How much is it?
$4,200 and some dollars. So, but that's for their swim shuttle, the Kids Empire, and the Elmwood Zoo runs, and the shuttle for the swim goes 14 different times we transport them. So it's a pretty good amount of transportation. So I don't know if you remember last year with all our lead testing and the things that had been dropped because of my position gap or whatever. We either need to test for lead once a year, or we need to at least talk about why we didn't test for lead every year in a public meeting, to stay with our policy and the Pennsylvania policy. And the reason I'm recommending we just talk about it is because if you look on here, every result we had last year had no trace of lead except for one faucet in William Tennant's it was their FCS room. And we replaced that faucet with a known lead-free faucet. So we have zero occurrences of lead. So we had talked about maybe every so many years doing one school at a time just to reassure ourselves. But every one of our fountains, every one of our bottle fillers has filters on it that filter for lead. We just want to, since we just did it last year, I want to recommend that we talk about it this year just so we are in compliance with the law, Pennsylvania law, and we put that in a public notice in the meeting, and then we're good. We don't have to test this year.
I just actually saw somebody complaining about this a couple weeks ago. I said nothing.
Yeah. So the thing about, they need to understand is with the thing I read.
Get the testing done. When did you finalize that testing? It was in the fall?
August, September, maybe by the time we finally got them back, maybe August, I think.
Okay.
The thing that is really unique to our area, which is good and bad, is Warminster's water, because of the base and all the wells,
Right.
has a massive amount of reverse osmosis carbon filtration that they do on every single well that comes out of the ground because of the contamination that they found from the bases. So the water is filtered before it ever gets to us, and then we filter all of our drinking water and stuff again. So odds are we're not going to have anything in our water.
I still don't drink the water.
I agree.
So,
Do you? You live in Warminster? Yep. We only use bottled water.
we will present this
Mhm.
at the 24th board meeting.
Yep.
Just that this is our plan, and we will consider, right?
Yep.
We completed this last year at this date. We'll, look to, no test this year, but consider future tests.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep, okay, that's good. And then what did do you want to talk about that 25, 26 capital plan, or?
We will be seeking approval. We presented to the finance committee yesterday, sort of the odd.
Let me see
funds,
where that's at.
Which are, you can just slide, I mean, it's the same thing that was up.
Okay.
Scroll through.
Yeah, the same thing we looked at already.
Yeah. In your discussion. Yep.
Yeah, so it's that.
So we'll be presenting, we presented to the finance committee the debt service fund as well as the food service fund 50. And this capital fund, will be seeking approval for that.
And how did they feel about the capital projects?
I brought that here. I didn't bring it there.
Okay.
Okay? I shared, as I said, the debt service and the food service fund
Okay.
with them. They were comfortable with that. And assumed that the operations committee would be the home for the capital fund. We really drive projects out of this.
Yep.
So those were the details. I think in capital projects, we sort of put down what we want to try to get done. And then as we move into the year, we identify which projects we're going to actually get done and get them bid and sort of firm up the dollars in there. So I think it is more of a directional approval. Hey, these are the things we need to be looking at.
Yep.
And plans around.
And this is a living document. Like I said, I'm constantly trying to find alternate ways to do things that are just as good to save us money. Grants, anything we can find that say we have to do buses. Buses, sometimes they have grants for propane buses, and we can get buses maybe. So I'm always constantly looking for ways to,
Whatever happened to the ticket,
we're working on it still. So
why are we still working on it?
it's not, so they sent us back a proposal that was gonna cost us money,
Who sent you back?
bus patrol,
Oh, really?
like $10,000 a month.
Really?
And we were like, no, so we had to send it to the solicitor to look at the contract because it wasn't clear. Now, the good thing is that with Chris coming on board on Monday, he just went through this process fully with him, and they just implemented it at his last job. So he has a lot of knowledge on what their new contract looks like and what the takeaway and everything. So we're still working on it.
And when does he start?
Monday. this Monday.
This Monday?
Yes.
I thought he was starting in July, no?
Nope, June 16th.
Okay. So he's coming from Upper Dublin?
Yes.
Which was also a hot mess, but not his fault?
Um,
This is information one of his
Yeah.
bus drivers sent me, unsolicited. He said he's a good guy, he knows what he's doing, it's a hot mess over here, but that's not his fault, it's other situations,
Well,
other,
I know they're union too, so that has a lot.
Excuse me?
They're a union shop also.
oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely are.
They said good things about him.
Yeah.
And
So
it's-
They don't have that clear transportation center, right?
no, it's off-site. They don't own it. They rent the building. It's weird.
They said nothing but good things.
Yeah.
And this isn't like, this is somebody I've known since I'm probably 1 year old, and he's like, oh, you're getting our guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
I think it is a hot mess everywhere.
It's hard job right now because you can't get bus drivers.
I think we're gonna have to figure out a way to attract them.
But I think that is it for operations, unless you have anything else to add, Tom. I think that's it.
Oh, yeah, amen. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So can I just ask you on the 24th, we're gonna do the budget again? So are we bringing out the Johns and sitting on it?
Cots.
I don't know. I'm planning to reach out to the board members and see if unless you'd like to, find where we'll find a consensus.
I can do that.
To move the budget forward and then call and let you know, so I can, plan that.
Can you maybe leave till next week to do that? I'll do it earlier in the week.
Sure, as long as we can get it done early in the week, I think that's
Because
what
I
we
think
need.
somebody's, I can't remember somebody's unavailable after Wednesday of next week, and I can't remember who, but, so if we don't, so if we don't approve a budget on the 24th, we have to have an emergency meeting, correct? Okay, so if we don't approve the budget,
Post it, right, so
okay, so,
it can't happen like the next day, right?
so can we post it ahead of time just in case? Because I have
Posted what?
a potential emergency meeting, so that we can have it with her?
Sure, so you're gonna post it, that we have it on the 26th?
Correct.